Good morning, Findlay Dreamers.
Good morning, Mrs. Adams.
And good morning, Findlay Scholars.
Good morning, Mr. Miller.
Good morning, Findlay family.
And good morning, Mr. Kirby.
Well, here it is, another marvelous Monday, and that means I have to give a shout out. So I have a shout out.
Shout out.
I have a shout out for Nurse Lori. You know, when you're at home learning, you don't get to see Nurse Lori very much. But did you know she comes to Findlay every day and she still calls people to find out how they're doing, and she reports all of our information to Polk County Health. She checks on teachers to see how teachers are feeling, and she walks around the school to make sure everything is safe. Nurse Lori cares about how you're doing at home. So if you're not feeling well, or if your mom or dad or grandma has a question about how you're feeling, call Findlay because Nurse Lori is glad to talk to everybody.
Yes, we certainly are glad about this following thing I'm going to name today. Every Monday, participation, the percentage for each classroom. Both of you, you're going to be amazed because it keeps increasing week by week. And the more we see this, more classes are having 90% or above participation rates. And we have a mix-up, meaning different classes have earned the top 3 slots. So it's going to be great to hear this, but I'll go class by class first. Mrs. Crawford's class, Mrs. Dow's class, Mrs. Fontanini's class, Mrs. Jinks' class, Mrs. McDermott's class, Mrs. Osborne's class, Mrs. Rivard's class, Mrs. Roberts-Varghese class, Miss Simmons' class, Mrs. Smith's class, Mrs. Spreitzer's class, and Mr. Williams' class. And the top 3, number 1, Mrs. Dow. Number 2, Mrs. Jinks. Number 3, Mrs. Crawford. And yes, that's fantastic news. And I have to do my own shout out to Roland Bash in kindergarten, Mrs. Osborne's room. When we've talked about ST math, he's getting better and better at that and having more minutes and time on that every day. So thanks, Roland. We really appreciate your efforts out there.
Yeah, wow, that's great. And as we go along, more and more classes, more and more students are engaged and invested in their learning. And that is a great feeling, especially if you work in a school. I have a shout out.
Shout out.
I have a shout out to Miss Osborne's kindergarten class. Afternoon, after lunch, I was scheduled to read some books with them. And I didn't know, I haven't been into a classroom right after lunch, but I kind of thought, oh, after lunch, I know it's kind of hard to, they were all back on. There were students in their homes. There were students at daycare centers. And man, they were all there. Roland Bash was one of them. He had a couple good questions and comments about the stories that we read. But I just thought that was amazing that here we have these kindergartners in their first year of school. It's been unlike any other school year anyone else has ever known. And here they are thriving and learning and participating and raising their hand and answering questions. It's just, I was very proud of that class. So shout out to you. I think that some year, maybe in the year 2037, those kindergartners might graduate from college. And so I can't think of a better time to do a college cheer. I know you're always ready. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 4, 6, 8, when should they graduate? 20, 20, 2032. 2, 4, 6, 8, when should they graduate? 20, 20,
graduate. 20, 20, 20, 36. 2, 4, 6, 8 women's kindergarten graduate. 20, 20, 20, 36.
Dreamers, dream big!
Dream big.
We believe!
We believe.